You are so not alone. And we collectively really wanted to jump on and open up the dialogue, because not only are you not alone, but we're all facing a historic moment in the state of Florida with the insurance market. And it is the most challenging market that just about anyone has ever seen in the state. So not only you are not alone, but we are very interested to hear from as many of you that are willing to share what's happening in your communities, what's happening in your community if you are a board member, particularly with condos and co-ops. You have a very different challenge than folks that are in HOAs and single-family home communities. But everyone, regardless of where you live, is having and facing very significant insurance increases. And that means different things for different people. So I'm joined here this morning with the founder and CEO of Gray Systems, with Fred Gray, who literally wrote the book on property and association management. He's been doing this and educating people around this subject for over 36 years. So I'm so happy to be here with him and learn from him on a regular basis. It's been remarkable. And I'm also joined, Fred and I are joined by Jeff Solomon, who is a community association professional, works with both Gray Systems and ACE by TSK, and also works with endless numbers of communities. So he has real knowledge with boots on the ground and is involved in this conversation, just like Fred and I are on a daily basis. So welcome, gentlemen. I'm really thrilled that both of you are here and that we have the opportunity to answer some questions from folks that are bombarding us. And it seems like this subject, more than anything else, is what everybody's talking about. So Jeff, we want to read that question again.
Between that, I mean, people just simply want to know, are they alone? These insurance rates are going through the roof. We're seeing increases between 150%. I did a meeting just the other night, running a town hall meeting for one of my associations, 485% insurance increase. They had like a 1 week's notice. They're already in the middle of the budget year. They're freaking out. They can't just leave and sell their condos, for $900,000 and walk away with a big chunk of cash. These are the kinds of places that are selling for 150, 250. What are these people going to do? So no, you are not alone. And I want every manager and board member watching this video to take this video that Fred's going to get into it in just a moment and share it with everybody, so you can prove that you're not telling them fibs, that you are not alone. Fred, give us a bullet point list of what some of these insurance laws are saying and what they are doing to condos and even some HOAs with some common elements like clubhouses and stuff.
Okay, well, thank you, Jeff and Lisa. First of all, this insurance problem is related to property insurance, the buildings themselves. It goes back, builders been building for some number of years here. The insurance industry has been pushing for increased premiums for all the way going back to 1992 with Hurricane Andrew. And then we had the lapse or lull in hurricanes up until the early 2000s, 2004, 2005. We had hurricane convention in Florida, and we suffered a lot of damage. Then it kind of was laid down. And then in recent years, we've seen more and more. And what's happening is the insurance industry has always based their premiums on risk analysis, actuarial studies, and they have lost control of those studies. They don't know what's going to happen. Plus, the consumers, construction industry, lawyers have all jumped into the program and discovered ways to make money on these disasters. Roofing industry, for example, had some action taken against them where they came in, acted as their own adjusters, declared the roof was substantially damaged. They had to replace the roof. Then the insurance industry has to pay for their losses there on the roof. Also, the lawyers jumped in, suing the insurance companies for additional claims and the insurance industry saw their profits and also their reserves diminishing. So their only solution is to raise the insurance premiums. That goes back to the consumer. And I'm hearing this from our clients and customers around the state, managers who use our services, and they call me and say, what do I do? My insurance company provider just called me and said, our premiums are going up 250% or 300% or 400%, as you mentioned, Jet. What do we do? I say, what do? You raise more money and you go back to your owners and get more money. And when you go to the owners, many of whom are fixed income retirees, there were workers in the past that retired to Florida to take advantage of our weather, our economy and everything. And they're the ones that are getting ambushed with all these insurance premiums. Then the legislature comes in and says, okay, let's do something about it. They had a special session last year, 2022. They passed this massive bill to reform the insurance industry, which the sponsor of the bill said it's not going to reduce premiums. It's not going to do anything for 2 years. And now they're in session right now. They're considering more legislation, none of which addresses the root problem and basically reducing the liability the insurance companies have for all the related activities. It's not the losses per se that's driving the problem. It's the additional costs, lawsuits, irresponsible claims, and other factors. And the insurance industry is doing everything they can to reduce premium exposure. As you mentioned, if your roof is 10 years of age or older, quite often they won't write insurance unless you put a new roof on.
Yeah.
Of course, now that's additional cost. So that's what's driving the problem, Jeff and Lisa. And until we get a handle on that, it's not going to go away. Bottom line.
And even Citizens isn't really the answer anymore. They used to be the company of last resort, and that is no longer the case. On top of that, aren't there only like 3 providers in this? Aren't all the companies leaving Florida? Is that, when board members hear that, and when unit owners hear that, and the board is sitting at the front dais at the front of the room, running the board meeting, telling them about the potential special assessments and everything, you have unit owners calling their board members and their CAMs irresponsible. How could you allow this to happen? Why did you not budget for this? How did you not foresee that? There are the factors you just mentioned. The fact that there's only 3 companies left in Florida that are even doing insurance for the associations, and Citizens is not the company of last resort anymore. I mean, it's insane. It's insane. And if you come out of this little powwow with anything at all, you're not alone. This is your board is not out to get you. Your manager is not being irresponsible. Yes, some of you are just finding out about this within like a 48-hour period. That is what is happening. And none of us here, we're education people. We have nothing at stake, nothing to gain from giving you this information. We're not a roofer. We're not roofers looking for your money.
Jeff, you speak to a very important point, which is not just about this subject matter, but about boards and community members in general, right? It speaks to communication, right? We are not surprised at what's happening at this very moment, or renewals that are in the hundreds of percentages, more than what communities have currently. But communication, and I think that speaks to how a board is run, how often they communicate with their community members, right? And how much of a heads up they give on what's happening. Sometimes boards have no idea, right? It just happens, and then everybody has to scramble to figure out what comes next. But in many cases, it's critically important that boards communicate effectively and with great clarity to their community members. And this issue about insurance, it's been coming, right? This is not brand new, but sometimes we all choose, whether we're board members or just residents of a community, or we are a single family homeowner that lives in a non-HOA piece of property, right? We choose to hear what we want to hear, right? So we all have a responsibility, if you live within an HOA, a condo, co-op community, to pay attention, right? It affects not only the value of each individual unit, but the financial health and well-being of the community at large. And that is critically important for property value and for the ability for you to budget personally as an individual to be able to live in your community long-term. So I think that whether it's this issue or any others, you bring up a very, very important point. Don't beat up your board, right? Don't beat up your board members. Don't beat up your CAM. They're all truly trying to do the best that they can with basically a fire hose of information being poured at them all day, every day. And I don't know that we're solving any of these issues today in this little powwow, but we did think it was important to bring it to everyone's attention, let you know you're not alone. Like I said, we really want to hear from you. So please send us a note. Send us an email. You can go to acebytsk.com. You can go to graysystems.com and you can send us a note. Let us know what's happening. We are going to aggregate all of your feedback and we will host more of these, but open to you so we can have a community dialogue. And maybe as a collective voice, we can be a little bit more powerful and maybe even add to that legislative conversation. Fred, what do you think as a community? Do you think we can have a voice and a seat at the table?
I think everybody should be in communication with their representatives in Tallahassee. Those are available. They react. They react to voices. That's evident from last year. In regular session in 2022, legislature failed to pass anything regarding insurance or looking at building safety. When the session ended, they were inundated, particularly with condominium residents complaining about the building safety issue. The governor called a special session to address insurance. But then immediately as it opened, they added the condominium issue, building safety, because of the Champlain Towers collapse 2001, and they acted. I don't like what they did, but they acted. But they will.
They reacted. That's the problem. They reacted instead.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
But I think they're going to. I think they're going to clean that up a little bit. I think there's going to be.
There's a bill that's supposedly cleaning that up, but still, they do respond. That's what I'm saying. Everybody talk to your legislatures, members of the Senate, members of the House, that they respond. I don't care whether you're a Democrat or Republican. If you talk to them, they act. And so that's what we do and speak out. As Jeff said, Lisa said, well, you're not alone. Everybody's getting the same thing here. So be prepared for that. But do take action.
Yeah, because remember, your boards also have to pay that money. This is not something your boards want. So go easy on them. They have to make the same payments you do.
Yes.
Well, thank you both. I think this has been great. We can't wait to do some more of these, guys.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you. Thank you, both of you, for your time and attention.
Take care, everybody. And remember, boards and cams are people too. Go easy on them. Be safe out there, everybody. Bye-bye.